Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Hyphenate here, and today I'm going to show you guys what I think is the best custom button layout for the Sony a7S III with version 3.0. This firmware update added some new features, so I wanted to make a new video with an updated setup. Here we are in the main menu of the a7S III. To do a custom button layout, go ahead and go down to the bottom, Settings, then go to Operation Customize. Click on that. And now here you can see that you can change your custom keys either by photography or by video. And here you can see that you can change each button to have its own profile under the photo mode and a different profile under the video mode. Now, since I only use the a7S III for video, all my custom keys are set on the photo mode. And when I go to the video mode, you can see right here that it says Follow Custom Photo Mode icon. That means the video is following all the settings set in the photo mode. Now, if you use the a7S III for photo and video, then you can do your own custom keys for the photo mode and then use this video to set up your video custom keys. Again, I only use this camera for video, so I'm just gonna set everything up through the custom keys on the photo mode. So go ahead and click into that. We'll start off with rear one. Number one is the AEL button on the back of the camera. I have that set to focus magnifier. This allows me to zoom in to look closer in a certain area, and I can move it around with the joystick so I can make sure I have the right focus. This does not do any cropping. So if you're recording, you're still recording the entire picture. All it's doing is allowing you to monitor a zoom while not actually zooming on the camera's recording. Number two is the AF on button. I have that set to switch right, left eye. Now I'll touch more on that in a bit, but if I had a subject here with a face, by pressing that button, I can choose if I wanted to focus on just the left or the right eye specifically. This is great because you normally want the eye closest to the lens to be the one that's in focus. There's one other setting that we'll go over in a bit that is connected with this. Number three is the C1 button. I have that set to white balance. Number four, I have set to focus mode so that I could easily go into manual focus if I need to. Number five, which is the trash can symbol or C4, I have set for monitor brightness. That way, if I'm outdoors and it's a sunny day, I can change it to sunny weather to make my LCD screen brighter. Now use that with caution because it might make you think that you're a little bit more overexposed on your photos or video when you're really not. This doesn't actually make your image brighter, just your LCD screen, which can be a bit deceiving. So now let's go to rear two, number one, which is the joystick. When you press the joystick in, it actually has a button as well. I left that at default, which is focus standard. So if I'm in a focusing mode where I can choose the area, if I press the joystick in, it's going to recenter back to the middle. Same thing if I have the spot focus, so I can move this wherever I want. If I click the joystick in, it's going to reset automatically to the center. Number two is the center button in the middle of the wheel. I have that set to auto white balance lock toggle. So this only works in auto white balance. Let's say that your white balance keeps changing. If you press that button in, you'll see on the bottom right corner, it has a AWBL. That means it'll lock whatever white balance the camera has chosen at that moment. So if I go into a different lighting situation, it's going to maintain whatever that white balance is that it defined earlier. If I press it again, now it'll go back to auto white balance. So if I'm in a different lighting scenario, the camera will start to adjust to the new lighting. Number three is the left click on the wheel. I left that at drive mode, which is the default. The right click on the wheel is number four. I left that at default, which is ISO. And number five is one that I think is very important. It's Finder Monitor Select. One thing I hate is when the sensor of the viewfinder triggers and it shuts off my LCD to switch over to the viewfinder. So one thing that I did in these settings, I went to where it says Finder Monitor, select Finder Monitor, and I chose Monitor Manual. Now this means that my viewfinder will never turn on. That way the sensor doesn't accidentally activate when I'm too close to it and switch over to the viewfinder. Now again with this, your viewfinder will never turn on and you can never use it unless you assign it to a custom button like I did here on rear two. The down button on that wheel, I set to Finder Monitor Select. So when I press that button, it'll actually turn off my LCD and turn on my viewfinder. If I press it again, it'll turn off my viewfinder and turn on my LCD. So now I can manually choose when I want to go from viewfinder to LCD or vice versa. That's a setting that everybody should do. Okay, now let's go to the next page of custom keys. Here we have the top. I left both of these at default. Number one at movie shooting, which is the record button. Number two at focus area. So I can choose what type of focus area I want to use. Page four is the button on certain lenses. That custom button I have set to switch right left eye, which is the exact same function I have set for AF on. And that's because if I'm using a big lens, it just makes it easier to switch which eye I want in focus. Next we have the dial wheels. Number one, which is the front dial, and number two, which is the back dial, I've left at default. The first one is aperture and the second one is shutter speed. Number three is not normally assigned, but I assign that to white balance color temperature. Now that only applies when I'm in a custom white balance, which is this one that has a little K symbol. So if I click on that, by rotating the wheel left or right, I can change the color temperature very easily. So when I'm working with specific lights, I can make sure that my camera is with the right color temperature. So that's pretty much everything under the custom key option. Now let's go to the FN menu settings. Here you can see I have the top photo functions. I have customized these as well. If you want, you can screenshot this and match these if you want. Again, I almost never use this camera for photo mode, but on the rare occasion, if I don't have my photo camera with me, these are the functions that I like to have set up. All right, let's go to the bottom half, which is the actual video FN menu. The first thing I like to have is the audio record level. Second is touch operation. On rare occasion, I want to avoid touching the screen and changing any settings. The next one I have is right left eye select. Now earlier, like I mentioned on the AFN button, as well as the custom button on lenses, I've chosen to select either left or right. But here in the FN menu, it gives you the option for not only right or left, but also auto. Now, a lot of times I'll leave it on auto if I'm shooting a lot of people, if I'm moving around a lot. But if I'm working with one person, then I like to choose either right or left. It doesn't really matter. With the AF on button or the custom lens button, I can quickly choose between right and left. Now next I have zebra display, so I can see if I have anything too bright that's clipping. Next I have APS-C Super 35 shooting. This gives you a 1.5 times crop, which only really works if you're in HD. If you're in 4K, this will be grayed out and you won't be able to select it. Next I have breathing compensation, a new feature added to version 3.0. Now from left to right on the bottom, I have autofocus transition speed, autofocus subject shift sensitivity, then gamma display assist, which I use if I'm shooting in an S-Log. Then underneath zebra display, I have zebra level. Next, I have steady shot. I rarely take it off, but on occasion, if I'm doing stuff with motorized motion control systems, then I turn it off. And next, I have record media settings. Sometimes this comes in handy when I'm making quick changes to memory cards. So there you have it. That's my custom button layout for the Sony a7S III with version 3.0. Now you can set it up manually like this, or if you'd like, you can actually download my preset settings, copy it into your memory card, put it back in on your a7S III, and install my a7S III settings preset for version 3.0. Go to the settings, go to reset save settings, then you can go to save load settings, load from media, which is your memory card, and install my a7S III settings preset for version 3.0. All these settings that I showed on this video will then be applied to your a7S III. I have a link in the description to download my settings preset, as well as a link to a video that shows you step by step exactly how to export and import settings presets. So there you guys have it. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, please drop a like on this video, drop a comment below if you have any questions, and please make sure to subscribe. We also have a playlist on this channel dedicated to Sony Alpha tutorials. If you're interested in getting this camera or any of the other gear that I use, I do have links in the description where you can purchase them. It doesn't change the price that you get it at, but it does help this channel. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.